It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. Landon Schmidt producing. We're Sports Time. We're with you. Another shortened show today as we're with you for the next 2.5 hours as Ole Miss basketball just keeps on winning. They didn't do much of it in conference play throughout the regular season, but now that the tournament's here, now it's make or break time. That is the time to that Ole Miss likes to feast, and they've won back-to-back games now with a matchup tonight at 6 o'clock against Alabama. So we will get you over there for the pregame show at 5:30 with that tip-off set for 6 o'clock. So only 2.5 hours this afternoon, but a lot to get to. We'll talk a lot of hoops again today, both college and the NBA. Tournament action everywhere you look. The Grizzlies, they were in action last night. We'll discuss that game a little bit. Like I mentioned, college basketball. We'll also get some other news around the sports world, but it will be a lot of basketball this afternoon. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well on the day of the year outside. Isn't it great?
Oh, man, it is a really, really nice afternoon for sure.
It sure is. I went to FedEx Forum last night to see Cooper Flagg, and I saw the Chris Middleton game.
Yeah, no, Chris Middleton kind of turned back the clock last night.
Didn't he?
And he looked really good for
Who are
Dallas.
those guys in Grizzlies uniforms, all 8 of them?
Yeah.
We had 8 men.
Yeah,
we had 8 men dressed out.
Yeah, I mean, just not any bodies right now for the Grizzlies, and some of that is actual injury. A lot of that is just the tanking season. That's right. Yes, it is the name of the game, and so yeah, I mean, you get these rosters out there and these lineups, and you just kind of say, all right, how many guys do we need to just have be able to have a team out there? And they kind of just throw that out there with 8 guys last night, and still with only 8, you kind of, if you were team, let's do everything we can to lose this game, you kind of had to do a little work to get there, but ultimately it was a 120-112 loss for the Grizzlies last night. Now they'll turn around tonight and play Detroit, another kind of early one. We had some early games earlier this week for the Grizzlies. This one at 6:30 tonight in Detroit. So a back-to-back, and I think this one will be pretty easy for Detroit tonight. Yeah,
it should be. Saw a good couple friends of mine last night, a husband and wife couple friend, and when I saw him leaving the game, both of us almost at the same time said, that was something to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was something. The tanking experience, it is.
It was full last night. We had 5 guys for the Grizzlies last night that we had never heard of on opening night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it is some different guys out there for sure, and some guys that you really would have never imagined would be playing meaningful minutes. I mean, again, Ryan Rupert, who's looked good since joining the Grizzlies, started on a 10-day, now
plays
on a 2-way.
Extremely hard.
He does. That's a guy, 38 minutes last night, and if you had told me,
it's a good way to latch on. Is play hard, isn't it?
Sure is. And, I know DeMichael was telling us when he signed the 10-day that a lot of people in Portland really liked him and liked what he brought to the table, but just didn't have space for him, and he was kind of a casualty of just needing some space. And so, I mean, but if you told me opening day Ryan Rupert is going to be on the team and play 38 minutes in a game against the Dallas Mavericks, I would have said that's insane. There's no chance that ever happens in this world. But here we are, and you added Tyler Burton to a 2-way. And you just added John Giroux to a 2-day today. He obviously wasn't out there last night, but we'll see a lot of him. Omax out there. He wasn't a part of the team at the beginning of the season. Your other 2-way guys have been out
wasn't there opening night?
I don't think so. He might have been the final 2-way at the opening season. But
that might have been 6 then.
Yeah,
I was counting him as being there.
He might have been. He might have been that last 2-way that they got. I can't remember when exactly they added him.
I don't think too many people were that proficient in the history of Omax.
No. I mean, it's definitely some new names, but it's fun kind of watching these guys, try to play themselves into a role and try to show not only the Grizzlies, but for guys that don't stick here in Memphis, this is an opportunity for them to get some good film and kind of show other teams in the NBA that, hey, yeah, I can be an end of the bench rotation guy. I can come in and give you good minutes. And you mentioned Rupert, and I think Omax is another one of those guys, and some of these 2-way guys, really trying to show that they belong here. Taylor Hendricks, I've loved what Taylor Hendricks has done since being acquired from the Jazz. I think he's looked great last night, a double-double for him, 17 points, 10 rebounds. So you're seeing a lot of fight in these guys to try to go out there and prove they belong. It's just you don't have the bodies to go up against a lot of these teams in the NBA, and we saw that last night. But it was fun to see Cooper Flagg in Memphis. A so-so game for him, 13 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds. But like you said, you got some big games for some other guys, including Chris Middleton, who it felt like he could not miss out there last night.
Clock ticking on the Ed Scott, Penny Hardaway meeting resolution, terms of the future.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, when that's going to be. If that's something we get as kind of that Friday news dump later this evening, or if it's something that we get over the weekend into Monday.
Buried into a late Sunday news dump.
Sure, it could be. I really don't know what that timetable looks like for them. I expect it to be run it back next year and see what happens. But we'll have to wait and see. I know he said after the game that they were going to have another conversation, so he didn't really put any specifics out there on when this conversation was going to be happening, but we kind of all have eyes on it and what comes out of it.
Do you think Ed Scott is going to tell Penny Hardaway, here is your new general manager, or is he going to tell him, here's what we're going to do for him, here's what we want you to hire?
Yeah, I would hope that it is kind of a, hey, this is the guy we're looking at, and this is the guy we're going after to hire to bring in for you. I think Penny should have some say in that, but I don't think it should be. I don't know.
Should he have veto power?
Maybe to an extent. I don't think he can. I don't know if I believe he should just be able to go in there and say absolutely not, and then that be the kind of end all be all. But I do think there.
But he should not have
100%
hiring power either.
I don't know.
He shouldn't go to Ed Scott and go, this is my guy.
I don't know. I think we've seen that not really work in the past, and so I don't know if I would love that. I would love for it to be kind of a conversation, but I also am kind of one of I think coaches should have power to hire who they want to hire.
I do too, Bryant, because especially with this situation with Penny Hardaway, there's nothing at all wrong with this. I would think all coaches have a healthy ego and idea of themselves. I'm not saying his is too much or overboard, but it will never work if you just foist someone on him.
Exactly, and so that's why I say this needs to be a conversation. I would love for it to be kind of a collaborative decision between the two, because this isn't an assistant. This is a general manager who it's not going to be X's and O's. It's just going to be kind of the scouting and different things like that. And so
it's not going to be playing time.
No. And so I would like
it shouldn't be.
No, I would like Penny Hardaway to I think he should get more of the say. I think if you're kind of going down to it, should be something like 70-30 or 80-20, because
I do too.
At the end of the day,
or it will never work.
No, and this guy, whoever it is that they hire, is going to be reporting directly to Penny Hardaway. It's not going to be them reporting to Ed Scott, and so that's where I think Penny Hardaway should have the say. But this is a guy that they need to go out and hire that knows the college basketball game, knows kind of the ins and outs of what the transfer portal is and what it looks like. It can't just be, hey, we should go hire this guy. Or promote this guy from our staff, or do this. It needs to be, I think, completely outside, bringing somebody in that really knows this stuff. And so I would hope it's a collaborative effort.
I got this text from a person in sports that texted me last night. What an Ole Miss run! It's too bad. This was the gist of the text. It's too bad Ole Miss went all football and neglected Beard on budget. He would have been great with his budget. And I sent back, categorically untrue.
Yeah.
It was fully budgeted, and he had 100% say-so and handpicked every player. This was not an injury-marred team at all. It just did not click. And if you don't believe at a place that it's fully funded that it may not click, does anybody doubt that Oregon's ever fully funded? And look at the year Dane Altman and the Ducks had.
No, yeah, I mean, it's a good point. And yeah, I mean, I think Ole Miss had a really nice budget, and I think they liked the idea of the guys they brought in. It was just it didn't work out, and it was a miss of an offseason.
So the early big number of the day. Don't play the jingle, Landon.
No, please.
Early big number of the day.
Yeah,
Ole Miss has now won more SEC games in Nashville. Than they won in the SEC at home at the Pavilion this year.
Is that right? Wow.
One. Beat Mizzou at home. That was it.
Yeah, one mini conference wins out there in the regular season, but
the other 3 wins were road.
Yeah, they've looked good in the.
We
in
know
the
Beard
conference
can
tournament.
coach, but we know goofy stuff can happen. I mean, look, last year in his second year at Ole Miss, he goes to the Sweet 16.
Yeah,
And he was telling people, and not braggadocio at all, wait till I get my own guys.
yeah, no, you're right.
It was still kind of stuck with Brakefield and Morrell and some other guys, kind of hold over from Kermit Davis, his teams. But it just fell apart, and they would fall apart down the stretch of games. The last 2 weeks, just gave away 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, no, they absolutely did. But they played well, and we'll see.
And almost gave up that one last night.
Yeah, no, they did. Built the big lead and needed to have it because it definitely got close there late. But we'll see what happens tonight as Ole Miss will take on Alabama here in a couple of hours at 6 o'clock. We've already got one final in the SEC, Florida with a 71-63 win over Kentucky right now. Tennessee Vanderbilt just getting started. Tennessee up 6-2 currently, about 5 minutes into that one. I mentioned Ole Miss and Alabama, and then the night will end Oklahoma and Arkansas, as Oklahoma got another win late last night, blew out Texas A&M. Now they advance. We'll see what they look like against this Arkansas team tonight.
Jimmy Dykes made this point at the end of the broadcast as the analyst with Carl Ravitch. 3 meetings this year between Kentucky and Florida, 120 minutes played. Kentucky never led for a second.
Wow, that's impressive.
Total domination.
Yeah.
Who's won the Calipari to Arkansas, Pope to Kentucky after about 2 years?
I would say Arkansas so far. I think it's been really, really good for Cal.
Knockout or technical knockout? Got him on points, or did lay him out in the 10th round?
I think this year and kind of the smoke around Kentucky is making it more of a knockout.
Me too. And I can tell you more in a week.
Sure, yeah. I mean, but
give me advancement in the tournament because it is a March tournament sport. It's what you're defined by. Miami of Ohio may learn this the hard way. I may be inverting numbers. I saw it flash quickly as a graphic. Miami of Ohio, strength of schedule. You want to guess it?
It's like 350 something, or it's way down.
Okay, maybe I saw it right then.
Yeah.
I wrote down 340, and then I thought, or was that 304? It happens.
Yeah, no, it's way down there. It's way down there.
64 net. Auburn has a 39 net, and Oklahoma a 47 net.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get that upset about it. I care, but I'm not going to get that upset about the basketball tournament. I do care. I'm very interested. Can't wait. I'm going to enjoy it. But I kind of save all passion and kind of bloodlust for the college football. Yeah. There's just no way Miami should get in over Auburn or Oklahoma. There's just not.
I think you can certainly make the argument. I think they deserve to be in.
Unless you just want to establish, the proverbial, well, they're people too.
Well, I mean, I think winning matters. This is the tournament we're talking about, and Miami did go 31-0 in the regular season. Now, I think they should be one of the last teams in because of that loss and because of all of those other metrics. But when we talk about we always say you got to play the schedule in front of you, and Miami did just that, and they went undefeated. I mean, again, the reporting has been unbelievable around this Miami, Ohio team. They reached out to plenty of schools that just absolutely would not play them, and so I mean, it's a very weird situation, and it's it's going to make for great debate no matter what happens. But I don't know what
I promise I'm not getting sore over it.
No.
I care. I'm just not going to. I'm not going to lose my mind at all over it. I'm saving losing what I have left of my mind over the college football.
No,
but I think it was David Cobb that used the example with us on Monday. I know it was David now, and I have used it a lot through the years in trying to make the example from people of you play the schedule in front of you. That's all you can do. I know that. I understand that. But again, you get around your buddies. Played golf lately? Yeah. Shot 68 at Goat Ranch Open. Okay, great. Have you played lately? Yeah, shot 75 at Spring Creek.
Yeah.
Well, we know which one's better.
Sure.
We know which one's tougher.
Sure.
I have 5 rounds of 75 at Spring and at Ridgeway and at TPC Southwind and at Memphis Country Club. and Chickasaw, and you got 5 rounds of 68 at Goat Ranch Open. Well, we know which one's better.
Sure. But if I can use that same analogy, I think both of these teams, no matter if it's Miami, Ohio, or Auburn, are probably early exits in the NCAA tournament. And if we're talking about a golf tournament, we've got this golfer that's been around, but they're not very good. They're just kind of a middling player. And you've got this young up-and-comer that, just hasn't had the opportunity, but he's been great on all these other, smaller courses. I'd rather give that guy the opportunity to get in, because I don't think either are going to make a dent, but that other team hadn't really proven that they need to be a part of the Masters, so why are we inviting them if they're just kind of a middle-of-the-road guy? I think both of these teams are squarely bubble teams.
That's a good comeback.
And, I reject that. It's just they played the schedule that was in front of them. I understand the argument one way or other, but Auburn has been a okay team. I don't think you can look at that team and go, that is absolutely a tournament team. And when you can't say that's an absolute tournament team, I think the team that went 31-0 in the regular season should get the nod over that other team just by going out there and winning those games. When they're that close,
but we'll agree whether it was in Oxford, Ohio, or on the Plains, we think Auburn would beat them all
think
on
so,
a neutral.
Yeah. No, I definitely think they would beat them. And so that's what makes it a very tricky situation. I've already seen all the debate, and it's only going to get louder whenever we get the bracket in front of us and see how it actually plays out.
Almost, if the SEC, and if we got to pay a sacrifice, if we got to throw somebody overboard, throw overboard the basketball on Sunday and don't do it in December. If Auburn's got to be the human sacrifice, fine.
Well, that might be, and I've seen some people point that out of Auburn went out there and played one of the toughest schedules out there, and if they don't get in, and you say this team that played absolutely nobody did get in, then Auburn should go out next year and play a very soft schedule. I know we've had similar conversations to that in college football with non-conference scheduling. So it's going to be a very, very weird conversation. I think it's very complex in a lot of ways between Miami, Ohio, and any of these other teams, but the big one obviously is Auburn. Well, we're going to talk a lot of college basketball. We're going to talk more Grizzlies, some other things as well. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Alan Bell from Driving the Line. He'll join us, talk some wagering. We'll talk a lot of college basketball, get some picks from him for all of these matchups we have later today. We'll get some college baseball from him, maybe even some WBC, as we've got bracket play getting started later tonight for the WBC. But we'll talk a lot of wagering with Alan Bell. 3:45, we'll talk more Grizzlies, talk about that game last night. It was a loss at home against the Dallas Mavericks, but there were some interesting storylines from that game, some very interesting performances on both sides. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk some other news around the NBA, as we had a classic last night on Prime between the Celtics and Oklahoma City. Just a really, really fun game between those two. Maybe a preview to the NBA Finals. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider, The Gold Sheet, and CBS Sports. He'll join us, talk some more wagering. We'll go through a lot of college basketball. We'll talk NBA as well with Bruce. 4:30, Brad Bellamy from Landers Ford. You remember Brad from our Landers locks throughout the fall. Well, he's back to give us some basketball plays as it's March and the madness is here. So we'll talk Landers Ford with Brad Bellamy, but we'll also get his locks as well. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Jason Munns, the Tiger basketball beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal. He'll join us. We'll talk Tigers. We'll talk about that loss at the American Conference Tournament. We'll talk about, now that the offseason is here, what ultimately happens with this staff, with this roster, with an official decision. When do we get that news? We'll talk about it with Jason Munns at 5 o'clock. We'll go about 17, 18 minutes with Jason Munns, and then we'll get to an early Moe's Crunch time because we're out here a little bit early today. 5:30, we'll get you over to Ole Miss pregame against Alabama. Then at 6 o'clock, we will have the game, Ole Miss versus Alabama, with that tip time set for 6 o'clock. While I'm telling you about that game tonight, I should mention that we will have Ole Miss athletics all weekend, no matter what happens in Nashville. We'll have that basketball game tonight. Right now, scheduled for Ole Miss baseball at Texas tomorrow afternoon. Now, obviously, if basketball wins tonight against Alabama, that will change. We will have the basketball game tomorrow, and then same thing for Sunday with Ole Miss baseball at Texas with a 12:30 pregame. So we'll have you covered with Ole Miss athletics all weekend long. But let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. The Floor Model Spa Sale, it's going on right now at Family Leisure. It's time to make room. Deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, and cold plunges. Have you been dreaming about a new spa? Now is the time to buy. Spas as low as $99 a month with over $1,000 in free upgrades with every spa purchased. $8,000 spas, only $159 a month with free LED lights and a waterfall available on most models. So head out there to Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Brian. I'm Brett. Our producer's Landon Schmidt, and we're Sportstime, and we're live and local and with you until 5:30 today. And we want you to be with us by texting or calling at 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. Always live and always local from our Family Leisure Studios, wherever we are. This hour every day brought to you by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2026 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. You can call them at 901-334-9673, but they invite you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, and that's where you can put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2026 flagship LS500. You'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, all of the action we have around college basketball. It's been a ton of fun to watch. It's going to continue to be fun as we have a lot of finals already in the book. The Big Ten with a fun game to start the day. Michigan with a 71-67 over Ohio State. A really fun back and forth game. Ultimately, Michigan is able to survive. We mentioned Florida earlier with a 71-63 win over Kentucky. And in the American, I guess that curse covered all of Birmingham because down goes UAB in their first game of the conference tournament. 83-78 loss against against Charlotte. Charlotte got that win after the win last night over Tulane, the team that beat Memphis. So now Charlotte advances to the semifinals tomorrow where they will play USF. On the other side of the American bracket, North Texas right now on top of Tulsa 30-16. A really nice start for North Texas in that game, and they've really continued to apply pressure. Maybe they can advance to the next round. That would mean both the higher seeds today in the American falling if this score holds. Now, in the bigger conferences, a lot of action, including the Big 12 tonight, where they're already in their semifinals. Iowa State and Arizona will get it started, and then later in the night, Kansas and Houston. But the big news is not these four teams that are playing. It's that we're going back to a good old-fashioned wood floor.
Hardwood.
With the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City after the complaints got too large, the risk of injury got too heavy, especially when you look at some of the guys on all four of these teams and the way that these teams are built currently. If you risk an injury on that type of floor and that hurts them in the NCAA tournament.
Good for your mark. To recognize,
yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Tech with the marketing plan and the buzz we get out of this.
Doubt
We can't
about
have anybody hurt.
And to do it in the middle of the tournament, because a lot of conferences would say, we already have it down, we're not going to mess with that and bring in a completely new court. We're just going to stick with it. So, yeah, you got to give him a lot of credit. But those two games are going to be both just awesome tonight. Can't wait for those. SEC, we mentioned those games earlier. Should be a fun night of basketball.
It really should be, and boy, we are building to the tournament. I'm ready for the bracket to be in hand. I'm still enjoying it. I'll hit a point tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. I'm ready for the bracket.
Sure.
Enough of the games, but I'm not there yet. My top story right there, closing in on the weekend in the Power Conference tournaments. Ole Miss doing what so many said and thought the Tigers could do, and that's get hot and get to Friday. They've done that. They almost gave away a big lead last night, but they held on. Win in advance. ACC, no surprise other than when we were doing our list the other day, and I may have had him, like if we'd have done 12 or 13, I may have had Brad Brownell from Clemson on that list.
Yeah.
I underappreciated, I think. He should get a lot more credit. Big Ten, pretty chalky. When UCLA is kind of the worst of your 8 quarterfinal teams. You know you got a great league in the Big 12. Semis feel like chalk, but it'll be good games building to Sunday afternoon and the reveal.
Yes, it is.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it is the Grizzlies. Another back-to-back for them. Last night it was a loss against the Dallas Mavericks, 120-112. Tonight they'll be on the road against the 47-18 Detroit Pistons. But last night for the Grizzlies, it was a really, really nice performance from several guys. You had a nice game from Jalen Wells, but I really loved watching Taylor Hendricks. I've really loved watching him since being acquired from the Utah Jazz. I think he's done some really, really nice things. 17 points, 10 rebounds for him, added a couple of blocks as well. But you look at that game last night, because you only had 8 players, you couldn't go to very many guys. That meant pretty much everybody played a ton in that game last night. 3 of the 5 starters played more than 30 minutes. 4 of the 5 starters finished in double figures. You had that 17 from Taylor Hendricks off the bench, but it was hard to stop Chris Middleton. 35 points, 10 for 17 from the field, 8 for 10 from 3. He was just automatic. You had some big-time performances from some guys in the starting lineup as well. Daniel Gafford gives you 22 points and 14 rebounds. PJ Washington with 12 and 10. Cooper Flagg didn't shoot the ball great last night. 6 for 16 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, but did have 13.6 rebounds, 7 assists. Just the way that he's able to impact the game even when the shot isn't falling. It was fun to see him inside FedEx Forum. Ultimately, another loss for the Grizzlies. Now we'll see what happens tonight against Detroit. Then they'll have the next couple days off before they return again on Monday.
My not top story, as we wait on something from the office of Dr. Ed Scott. The weekend approaching, and it feels like at some point between kind of now and this time Monday, I think we will have that official statement of, and I think it will be with the air of course, Penny Hardaway staying. Whoever doubted that? And almost like, well, who would question? Well, it was open for question, but I don't think anybody was really wanting it to happen or predicting it to happen. But I think the statement will have more support, more financing, the GM position, maybe a new assistant coaching staff, more to keep Penny going into year 9. This time next year at tournament time, we'll roll the odometer over. It will have been 18 years since the Tigers' last Sweet 16, and in that time, 2 Josh Pastner NCAA tournament wins and 1 Penny Hardaway win. But this time next year, that past math is not going to matter. It's going to be everything in front of Penny Hardaway to at least get in the tournament and maybe win a game, or we know what the resolution will be.
Yeah, it's going to be a very important and a very busy offseason and a lot of eyes going into next season. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's get to our first break, and when we return, we're talking some wagering. Alan Bell from Driving the Line, he joins us next.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Start your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With over 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? And if you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control in lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at lawnsolutionsinc.net. From our family to yours, thank you for your business.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. Taking care of families isn't new to us. It's what we've done across the Mid-South since 1958. Now celebrating 68 years in business, Choate's is still family-owned, award-winning, and committed to doing things the right way. With honest service, expert technicians, and industry-leading warranties that bring real peace of mind. To celebrate, we're offering our $68 deals. Get our $68 early bird AC tune-up special, or just need Freon to get you cooling, get $68 off per pound. If your system is struggling, don't wait for it to fail on the hottest day of the year. Upgrade today and get up to $2,000 in Carrier Cool Cash rebate on some select Carrier systems. Plus, enjoy 60 months no interest financing on new HVAC systems, generators, or tankless water heaters. Call Choates at 347-80866 or visit HVAC.com today. And remember, let our family serve your family.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No, but if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A couple of EMS calls in the last 15, 20 minutes. No shortage of radar as you head west of Memphis on I-40 out through certain parts of Arkansas, headed out into Forest City area. There's been quite a bit of troopers out in that area and some earlier just west of West Memphis as it gets a little bit heavier over here on 240 getting on to 385 Billboard. Clarkley, that's only going to pick up even more out towards Collierville. Bridal season just around the corner. Shop local this weekend and save a ton of money when you shop at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck when you're on time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we've got to talk some wagering. And joining us now from Driving the Line, Alan Bell. He joins us every Friday to talk some wagering. Alan, thanks so much for joining us. A ton of games to discuss with all these conference tournaments going on in college basketball. Most conferences start baseball series this weekend, so plenty to get to. But let's start here in the SEC in basketball. I know this game has already started between Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Both the games in the regular season were really good, back-and-forth games that these two teams split. What was your thought going into this game between Tennessee and Vanderbilt? Right now, Vanderbilt up 2.
Yeah, first off, appreciate you guys having me back. And, honestly, a game that both of these teams need to win. I was on the over 143.5 here. I don't mind Tennessee, but how do you bet it? Yeah. Vanderbilt took care of business in Knoxville, so this one's tough, man. But I like the over because these teams, they're just going to go and just keep going and keep going. And to be honest with you, overtime is very much in play here.
It sure is, and I like that overplay as well. And as we keep going, the motivation of teams, these two are plenty motivated today. The winner out of this game, how motivated will they be tomorrow to be facing Florida? Win today, and it kind of shines up the resume enough. I know it could really do it with a win over Florida, but today seems more important than tomorrow for this winner.
Oh, absolutely. Get the win today, you're right. And then going into that Florida game, depending on seeding and all of that, you play a good game, that can really work in your favor. And if you get beat, they don't really try to penalize you for it. But, yeah, you're right. This is the one to get today. But like you said, the Texas, this is a Chamber of Commerce game right here. Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Let's go.
Yeah, it really is. Looking at the other games in the SEC today, next on tap is Ole Miss and Alabama. This Ole Miss team, a lot of people thought they were going to have one game in Nashville and be done. They were underdogs against Texas. They end up winning that game last night. They get the massive lead over Georgia, and then Georgia comes all the way back, almost wins that game, but they win that game as an underdog now against a much tougher opponent in Alabama. What do you expect tonight between Ole Miss and Alabama?
Yeah, first off, got to give credit to Ole Miss, just like you said, incredible 2 games that they've played so far. And they can get Alabama today, all right? They can do it. But what you have to do is you're going to have to just contest threes. You're going to have to get hands up and don't foul Alabama. Don't give them free trips to the free throw line when they're shooting a 35-foot shot. You know what I mean? Now, they're going to hit some of them. That's said, though. Just play good defense and get to the foul line yourself, man. They can do it. I like the under in this game, to be honest with you. I think Ole Miss is going to give them a fight.
Yeah, I like that under as well, and I think for any chance for Ole Miss to pull the upset, it probably needs to go under. I don't think they can match Nate Oates' team in a wild three-point shoot. You know, if both sides, if Alabama had 10 threes and Ole Miss had 10 threes, I don't think that's good for Ole Miss. I know it's the same, but they don't need to be in that kind of pace. The game in Oxford in February, I was there, Alan, and at the 9-minute mark remaining in the first half, so after 11 minutes had been played, Bama only had 9 points. And then they go on and score 92 points. It just came in waves, and Alabama can do that to you. Even, that slow first half, or maybe even to the 10-minute mark of the second half, they can make up a lot of ground really quickly.
Really quickly. We saw them do the same thing to Tennessee, a couple weeks ago. Alabama can pick it up very quickly and go. So I'm with you. And it's one of those games, like you said, you were saying, I can give you every cliche in the book. But it's correct. That's the way that Ole Miss needs to play it. A coach's style game. You go up there to hit your free throws, and you don't give Alabama free ones. You make them hit those 35-footers. Good things can happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they absolutely can. The last game tonight in the SEC, kind of similar. This Oklahoma team, got a little hot in the regular season towards the end of the year in SEC play, but they were one of the last teams here in the field. They played on opening day. They win that game. They turn around yesterday and they beat Texas A&M by like 20 points. It was a beatdown against A&M. Now back in action against this Arkansas team, an Arkansas team that rested Darius Acuff in their regular season finale. Right now, Arkansas 6.5-point favorite, total 166.5. What do you like tonight in that game?
Yeah, look, like you said, Oklahoma, same deal. They are fighting. They're not going away. But I'll say this. I like Arkansas with the 6.5 today. I think it's a good spot for Arkansas. Like you said, had some rest in that regular season finale. And Oklahoma's got to be tired already. And I think the John Calipari, look, we all know John Calipari, when it gets to tournament time, he's ready to go, man. A conference tournament is included in that. So while it's been fun for Oklahoma, yeah, big on Arkansas.
Alan, is it any truth to every place on Broadway with Kentucky's loss earlier, but they'll stay the rest of today and tonight, probably start heading back home tomorrow. With their exit, every place went up $15 on cover charge for tonight.
That's 100%. The Blue Mist pays bills. It pays rent down here for all the fine folks working at restaurants, 100%. So, yeah, once Kentucky's gone, price, it just went up. You're exactly right.
to have Kentucky and Tennessee and Vanderbilt as well on a Friday afternoon, they got a printing machine going in downtown Nashville.
Buddy, they sure do. And just down the street, you got LSU and Vanderbilt baseball. 5 minutes down the road. It is a good night.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No, all right, well, let's go there. What do you like from that series this weekend? Vandy needs to get it going.
So does LSU. They went 1-4 last week. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if there were ever two teams that needed a win tonight, it is both of them. I like LSU. You can get them at like minus 140 money line price. That goes to show you what it's been like for them lately. But I like LSU to get the job done. The total is at 9.5. Vanderbilt, a top 5 home run hitting team in the country. LSU, a top 5 pitching team in the country in regards to strikeouts. So you got a very low total there, but a very must-win series here. Give me LSU.
Yeah, no. SEC getting started with all of their conference series. I know Ole Miss and Texas starting a series as well. This Texas team, one of the best teams in the country. They have been lights out through non-conference play. What do you expect in that series?
They're incredible. And look, Ole Miss is a good baseball team too, right? We put them in the same category. Virginia, Clemson, these teams keep going, right? But Texas is so quiet, and nobody's paying attention. Well, they're paying attention, but we don't really talk about them because they just go out and brutally, efficiently handle their business. 8-0 wins, right? Like, I think they're, 17, 16-0 right now?
Yeah.
Handling their business. It's going to be tough for Ole Miss, but don't sleep on Ole Miss, man. This team has a lot of talent, as you guys know.
Yeah.
Alan, we won't talk to you again until the tournaments. All of Dayton will have been completed on Tuesday and Wednesday, and a large part of a day and a half will be in the books. I know what you do on Sunday night, and a lot of people do it as well, but I know people in the handicapping business, it's the first thing they do. They get the bracket, and then that seed that doesn't translate to the Vegas point spread, that sets off fire alarms, doesn't it?
100%. And you know what? You know who could be that team? Tennessee could be a team like that because, look, they're looking at a 5 seed, a 6 seed. And to be honest with you, it hasn't looked great as of late, right? So, yeah, you're 100% right. Exactly. And remember, when you're looking at betting this thing and you're looking at filling out brackets, 2 different sports. You know what I mean? Brackets are money line, winners, betting spreads, completely different. So you got to have to play 2 different games here. But that's the fun of it, isn't it?
It really is. I'm looking now to try to a good example. A lot of times you'll see that 10 seed that's actually favored over the 7, but every now and then you'll get an 11, and that's telling you Vegas should be doing the bracket, not some pinheads in Indianapolis.
100% right. And Tennessee could be that 6 seed that they were an 11, going, hey, buddy, we ain't scared nothing. We've seen y'all. I think that this tournament, like, Duke and Florida, some of these teams, they're just so overwhelmingly good. But, man, this tournament is setting up nice because we got a lot of teams that can steal wins on the road. These tournament factors could be great.
Yeah, no, it is going to be a lot of fun. One more college baseball series I wanted to ask you about. This another SEC one, but some I think have this as a top 5 matchup. The website I'm looking at has that as a top 10 matchup. Number 3 Mississippi State on the road in Fayetteville against number 6 Arkansas. What are you expecting in this game, and especially tonight? Right now, Mississippi State minus 154 money line on the road tonight. What do you expect tonight out in Fayetteville?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen somebody be a favorite in Arkansas, and that's out of respect to Mississippi State, this team. But what you said about Texas, say it about Mississippi State. They've got 2 losses on the year, and they came to Southern Miss and UCLA, who are both top 10 teams, obviously, right? Arkansas is feeling pressure. I know they are. And unfortunately, I don't think that the coach and the team deserves to feel that pressure. They're still really good at what they do. I'll be honest with you. I'm with Arkansas tonight. I think they dig deep. Mississippi State, a really good baseball team. Nothing against them. But if you ask me, Arkansas needs it. And I think they get the job done.
Alan, did you see the story that made the rounds on the Twitter machine today about the various budgets for SEC baseball, and that Tennessee led with a $13 million baseball budget? Was that the power of Vitello, the power of winning it all, or all that?
It was a lot of it, right? Like, Tony Vitello was a very energetic young guy that was fun to get behind. Now, not saying that about Elander. He came from Vitello, right? Yeah, program continues. But, yeah, man, there's a lot of money pumping into that. And Elander's going to have to keep winning games. And they have Georgia this weekend, and that's not going to be easy to do. But, yeah, there's a lot of money in Knoxville, all across the state, going to baseball right now.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch all of these baseball series, especially with the ACC starting conference play, but also all the college basketball action as well. As this Tennessee-Vanderbilt game looks like you said, it's going to come down to the wire. We could certainly get an overtime matchup here in Nashville. But as always, Alan, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy all the action, and we'll talk to you again next Friday.
I sure do appreciate it, guys. You have a wonderful weekend as well. Thank you, Brad.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank you, Alan. Good luck. Good luck the rest of this weekend and before we talk to you again next week. Did you see the budget story on baseball, Brian?
Yeah, I saw the top of it. I didn't really look at it too closely, but I did see Tennessee at the very top of that list. But some big time numbers out there for college baseball.
And it will only inspire some to spend more for being behind some others.
Yeah, no, I think you're definitely right, especially some of those SEC teams that are kind of looking up and seeing other programs ahead of them. They're definitely just going to want to improve that budget. So definitely some eye-opening numbers out there when that report. I don't remember who put that out, but I saw it I think late last night. But definitely some interesting stuff in there.
I don't have it exact, but I would bet a healthy sum as recently as 2015, 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
11 years. The Tennessee baseball budget wasn't $4 million.
No.
If it was that.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think it's a mix of kind of everything that's been happening over there. I think Vitello, his personality and kind of his buy-in factor really spread far and wide, and then also just going out there and before they won it all, kind of getting out there and kind of getting that taste of making a deep run, and then going out there and winning it all. Just getting the excitement of we could be a real powerhouse, not just a 1 year and done, a continuance powerhouse in college baseball. So I was not surprised when I saw Tennessee at the top. I didn't know. I don't think I knew that they were at the top of the list, but I had a feeling they would be pretty high up there. But let's go ahead and get to another break. When we return, we got to talk more about the Grizzlies, their loss last night against the Dallas Mavericks. We'll also talk a little bit about tonight's game against Detroit. We'll talk about that next on Sports Time.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
Sometimes an idea comes along that fills a void nobody even knew existed, and a few years ago, one of those ideas was Sunrise. We didn't know that Memphis had been waiting for a place that serves the freshest, fastest, made-to-order breakfast, and lunch for that matter. And then Sunrise on Jefferson opened, and we all realized that's what we've been waiting for. And now we also have Sunrise East on Poplar, because we needed that too. Both Sunrise locations provide the delicious food we've been craving, and now we can get, and we can only get, at Sunrise.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis has serious vans for serious work. At 4430 American Way, they are the Mid-South source for cargo, passenger, crew vans, and custom chassis. Need one or a full fleet? New or used, they've got it with fleet solutions and custom upfits. Certified techs keep you moving with fast maintenance, repairs, and a large parts inventory. Mercedes-Benz Van Center is your Sprinter Van headquarters, 901-237-9302 or sprintervans.com. Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis, part of the Tag Truck Center family, driven to keep you on the road.
Kubota Orange Days are here, so come see them Friday, April 3rd, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday, April 4th from 8 until noon at First Choice Farm and Lawn for Garibaldi's Pizza. Some fun and a lot of Kubota Orange. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs. Get your perfect match. Get 0 down, 0% financing, and discounts up to $2,000 on select models of mowers, tractors, and construction equipment. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com. Kubota Orange Days, Friday and Saturday, April 3rd and 4th, plus Sports 56 and Johnny Radio. Friday, April 3rd from 11 to 1, giving away Garibaldi's. For 50 years, Memphis has been going to Garibaldi's for great pizza, and it's still a Memphis favorite. And we're giving it away at First Choice Farm and Lawn, 12701 Highway 64 East in Eads.
Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening is coming to the Graceland Soundstage. Saturday, May 9th at 8 p.m. Jason's thunderous drumming recalls one of the greatest to ever sit behind the skins, his late father, John Bonham of Led Zeppelin. This is as close as you will ever get to letting the lead out live. Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Get your tickets today at GracelandLive.com.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
We talked about it briefly in the first segment, but the Grizzlies fell last night 120-112 against the Dallas Mavericks. They'll turn around tonight on the road against the Detroit Pistons. Last night it was all Chris Middleton, 35 points for him, 10 for 17 from the field, 8 for 10 from three. Just felt like at times in that game he could not miss a shot. As a team, Mavericks shot 48% from the field on the other side. Grizzlies shot 42%, but only 8 guys available, including their two-way guys and a guy on a 10-day. So really, really bare in terms of bodies last night. But it was another loss, and we'll see what happens tonight against Detroit.
And it was a great loss. It was a loss that the Grizzlies needed in the big picture, short-term, long-term, and kind of hard-earned. Dallas, when the fourth quarter started, I think it was 84-82, might have been scored. Anyway, whatever it was to start the fourth quarter, and I thought this will be a tank-off special fourth quarter.
Yeah, no, you definitely felt that.
But
even
were you really tanks on defense?
Sure.
When you shoot, you want to make it.
No, definitely.
When you have a wide-open dunk, you're not going to blow it.
No, absolutely not.
May not give the best effort to let the guy get the wide open dunk.
Sure. But, I think, the Grizzlies, the way they're doing it, I think, is the fun way to tank, because I do think these guys are trying out there. I do think they are.
It's very impersonal.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It definitely is. But, it's not just, hey, we're going to play all of our guys and then take them out in the fourth quarter. I mean, these are guys out here trying to fight for a spot in the NBA. It's just they just don't have the bodies, and they just don't have enough guys available, and
And there may not be a spot in the NBA for some.
That's true. I think a lot of them are proving that they can continue to be two-way guys or kind of be end of the bench rotation pieces. I think it's been fun watching these guys play. It's just those type of players on the court usually lead to losses, and it's going to be a lot more losses for the Grizzlies this season.
Look at these point spreads tonight in Motown. The Pistons 15.5 over the Grizzlies. In Indianapolis, the Knicks on the road, 13.5 over the Pacers. The Pacers were in the NBA Finals last year.
That's right.
Deal with that.
Yeah.
Dallas at home, 13.5 underdog to Cleveland. They're not winning 2 in a row. I don't know if Cleveland's going to cover the 13.5. But the Trailblazers, Portland at home, 15.5 over Utah. They could get there.
Yeah.
That could be easy. And the Clippers, 13.5 at home over Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, this looks like some of the NCAA tournament first round game point spreads.
Yeah, and I mean, it's you're seeing a lot of these teams at the top of the conference against teams at the bottom of the conference, and teams that are trying to lose going up against teams that are trying to win. And so, not super surprising. I mean, I would say surprising if you didn't know exactly what the Jazz were trying to do. Surprising that Portland's a 16-point favorite over the Jazz, but we've seen the Jazz. They've got the tanking down.
Cincinnati Bearcats, they've fired Wes Miller after 5 years.
Yeah, and he really got put in a tough spot. That was a guy that was at a low major program before taking over at Cincinnati. Got the job in the American. I thought was on his way to doing some nice things in the American, and then the move to the Big 12. was, I think, a year after he took over was when the announcement came. And so now he's in the Big 12 playing, really one of the toughest conferences in college basketball, and just really didn't have the teams to be able to compete. And that was a guy that going into conference tournament, it felt like if they could win a couple of games, maybe go on a little bit of a run, maybe that would save his job. That was really up in the air. But yeah, ultimately that news coming out, and they'll make a change.
In Cincinnati, they hadn't been able to get it right.
No, it's been tough. And you look at obviously Houston, they already were at the top of basketball when they went into the Big 12, so they made it look very seamless. But UCF has had its struggles getting over into the Big 12. They've been able to get a lot more big time wins in conference play than Cincinnati has. It's just been really, really tough for Cincinnati. I think if you had asked me in the American, I would have probably told you Cincinnati will be the team that figures it out first, just because they were very consistent for years, but he just couldn't get it done. I'm sure he'll land on his feet somewhere and be able to get back to one of these mid-major, low-major jobs. And I'll be very curious to see where Cincinnati goes, because that's one of those jobs, kind of like what we were talking with Arizona State, where you go in there to start, and it's a pretty tough job in that really tough conference.
Bob Huggins, for so long did such a good job, and then Andy Kennedy the 1 year, Mick Cronin for a long run, then John Brannon, Wes Miller, and now whoever will replace Wes Miller.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting to see where they go from here in terms of hiring. And I would love to know what kind of job that looks like. What kind of names kind of get thrown out there for that job. I haven't really seen any.
Pro Town, heart of football country, the Buckeyes.
Yeah, it's just really tough.
Tough conference, tough. Travel's different.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's really tough. So I just don't know where they're going to go from here, but I am very curious to see who they end up going out there and hiring. There was some other news out there. Kim English now officially out at Providence. That one felt like it was coming for a while, but that now obviously final. That's a name that I'm really curious where he lands with Kim English. I think he is a good basketball coach, just a really tough job with Providence. And then the news late last night, Casey Alexander from Belmont taking the Kansas State job, one of the first jobs open with them firing Jerome Tang earlier in the year. Now Casey Alexander's done a really nice job at Belmont. He'll take over, and we'll see what he can do with this Kansas State team. So it's a lot of news out there. Obviously, we're keeping an eye on all these teams trying to make tournament runs, but all these teams that their season has come to an end, they're making decisions on what the future is going to look like. But we need to wrap up this hour, get to another break, and when we return, we're going to talk more wagering. Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider, The Gold Sheet, and CBS Sports. He joins us next.
Hi, this is Greg Gaston from Sports 56 here with Corey B. Trotz and Parker Trotz from NST Law. Okay, Parker, tell us, why did you even want to become a personal injury lawyer?
We all know somebody that's been injured in an accident. They may be off work, without transportation, not to mention just having to heal from all of their injuries. And so being a personal injury attorney really gives me a unique opportunity to help people and do for them what they wouldn't be able to do on their own and help get them through a really difficult process while making them feel at ease.
Now, Corey, we know that NST Law has been around forever in the Memphis community. Tell us about some of the causes that really matter the most to your firm.
We have served food at the Ronald McDonald House, cleaned up parks in Memphis, delivered food to people who are food insecure. We've also donated to a lot of legal organizations that provide legal services to indigent clients. Our attorneys and staff want to continue to give back to this wonderful city that's helped us out so much.
Thank you so much, Parker. Thank you, Corey. Remember, NST is always the way to go. If you're ever injured, go to nstlaw.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. 5Ash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
5Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Ben Storff Realtors, and I'm with Julie Mullimary, also with Mark's Ben Storff Realtors. Julie, you've been in real estate almost your entire life, having started in South Florida in your family's firm. But more importantly, as the Florida high school state champion in golf and playing for Florida Gulf Coast, I needed your opinion on my golf game.
Sheldon, you are a pro when it comes to selling real estate and representing buyers, but as far as your golf game, I've seen better swings on the playground.
Thanks a lot, Julie. We both know the score, though. Selling real estate requires a high degree of skill off the course, and both of us do have that. So if you're thinking of selling your home, remember, making real estate easy is Julie. Julie Mullimary, 305-0112.
And when you want the job done, call Shell Dunn at 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. That's MemphisRelocate.com or 483-0546.
This traffic report brought to you by City Center Liquor just off Highway 70 in Lakeland. Local, friendly, and always fully stocked. For a 5% discount, tell them Sports 56 sent you.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. TDOT's trying to untangle a couple of accidents. It's building. Here we go. Southbound on 240 at South Parkway, just the normal delays now. Trying to get out of the Midtown area. I-40 looks like it's got heavier as well up by the 101 connector there. Trying to get past Watkins as you continue down I-40 there over around Covington Pike. Watch for a little bit of radar out here. Bridal season just around the corner. Shop local and you'll save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry, conveniently located 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, with Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
We're back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our second hour on this Friday afternoon. We've got to talk some wagering. We do it at this time with Bruce Marshall.
Joining the guys every Friday is college football historian and Vegas legend Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insiders, CBS Sports, and his own website, bamsports.net. With over 30 years on Memphis radio, with handicapping and sports talk, here's Bruce Marshall with Bryant and Brett.
Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and back with the Gold Sheet. He joins us now to talk some wagering. Bruce, thanks so much for joining us. We've got all of the college basketball action with these conference tournaments. We've got the SEC on in here as they're at half, tied 31-31, Tennessee and Vanderbilt in action right now. Going into this game, I know it's tied at halftime right now. How did you view this game? How did you approach this game between Tennessee and Vanderbilt? They split during the regular season. It was interesting the way they split. Tennessee won the game in Nashville while Vanderbilt won the game in Knoxville. How did you approach this one?
Yeah, I didn't. Because it was such a toss-up, I kind of steered clear from it because, like you said, the road teams won both games, and it just seemed like this was going to be right down to the wire. Probably. Well, what's at stake probably here? I think maybe being on the 4 line, which would be a protected seed, which it just really means a preferable geographic assignment in the sub-regional. So I think that's kind of what's at stake here, but there wasn't much to choose from in this game. I mean, it was a true toss-up, and so far, first half, looks like that's what we're doing.
Yeah, we don't really like toss-ups. We like to have one side, don't we?
Yeah, and this one was just on all these games today. This was about the toughest one I came across.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce, right for Sunday, if you were the one-man fiat head of the committee, you can make the number 1 overall seed. Who do you make it?
Florida, because I think they're the best team. Although if Duke can survive the ACC tournament, I think Duke is probably number 1, and then Arizona would make a case. Arizona would have a better record than Florida. Florida, I think, is the best team. Although I was a little miffed today they let that point spread get away against Kentucky today, but they were totally in control of that game. Duke had a real escape last night, and I think Caleb Foster's absence is significant for them. I mean, he was really the glue guy, point guard, and they may not get him back for the dance. And so I think they're a little vulnerable, and I don't think they get knocked off the 1 line, but for the overall number 1 seed, if they lose to Clemson tonight or tomorrow night in the final in the ACC, they could get bumped from the overall number 1 seed, but they'll still be on the 1 line and probably there in the South, and they'll open up in Greenville, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Would you then have Michigan as your 4th team?
If they can survive the Big Ten, yeah, I think that's sort of down them or UConn. And right now it's Michigan, unless they lose the Big Ten tournament and UConn wins the Big East. They got a good draw tonight. They got Georgetown tonight, so they should be in the final. But, yeah, Michigan, but they probably have to win the Big Ten tournament, or they could get leapfrogged by UConn for the 1 line.
Mm-hmm. Where are you sitting right now with the Miami, Ohio, and anybody else? Mainly, everyone's pointing at Auburn debate.
Yeah, I think Miami should be in there. I think it would be really a bad look. I mean, we don't need to put this many teams from the Big, especially one that's lost as much as Auburn. They've proven they do have a few good wins, including Florida. But I mean, the body of work this season, that's just too many losses, I think, to get rewarded with an at-large bid. Miami's made it more interesting, and they're going to. I think they'll make it, and just from Lunardi and everybody else, they might have to play in one of those play-in games in Dayton, zone 11 versus 11, which is what I kind of think the selection committee is going to do. But I think it would be, the uproar if they don't put Miami in after that 31-0, even though they lost to UMass yesterday. UMass is a pretty good team, too. I think they're in. I think Auburn's probably out. And by the way, that thing with the MAC, if there are 2 teams in the MAC, that's a bubble thief, and it turns into Miami sort of being the bubble thief right now because somebody else is going to get the auto bid. But that didn't figure a 2-bid league until Miami lost. But that's where your bubble thieves come from.
But Bruce, in your heart of hearts, do you think Miami that they're better than Auburn?
Maybe. Yeah, I think they could. I could beat Auburn. Yeah. I think they did. But I could be wrong with that. But listen. There was Frank Martin came on Jason Whitlock this morning, and he laid it out pretty good at what the handicap these mid-majors have and the way the net has been set up that really to the benefit of the big conferences. And Martin made that's everything that I've been saying too, but I'm not of the opinion that a team that goes 31-0 in the MAC, even if it loses in the conference tournament, should be left out. They should be in there. There's room for them. And if it means a team like Auburn doesn't get in there that has 16 losses, fine. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that. I think they deserve a spot on Selection Sunday. Going back to the SEC, looking at the last 2 games of the day, we've got Ole Miss and Alabama at 6 o'clock. Right now, Alabama, 12.5-point favorite, total 165.5. What do you like in that game?
Well, Ole Miss they're one of the Cinderellas left here, and unlike we'll get to that Oklahoma game, I assume in a second. Oklahoma was sort of playing under capacity all year, and now it looks like they've kind of hit stride. I don't know that Ole Miss was ever that good this year. I mean, they're the wins they had in league, just 4 of them in the regular season. But I mean, they've led wire to wire thus far in Nashville. It looks like they've sort of put things together at the right time. Maybe there's a little magic that Chris Beard's. I mean, he's had some success in March before, so maybe they can make this interesting. I think there's a chance they could, because Alabama is a little flighty. With all those threes, they could go cold at any point. So I actually think I might ride Ole Miss. I would love to see Ole Miss win. I love these Cinderella stories. We lost one today in St. Bonaventure. That was setting up as a great story in the Atlantic 10, but Dayton kind of stifled that today. Close loss for St. Bonaventure, but a loss nonetheless. But I love these teams upsetting the apple cart like that, and Ole Miss would certainly do that. So I'd like to see Ole Miss keep it going. We'll see. I'll take them plus the points tonight.
Bruce, and have followed Memphis Tiger basketball for a long, long time. This year at preseason, I had them 21-10, and that wouldn't have made a lot of noise. I think I had 7-6 non-conference and 14-4 in conference. They were way off that. Now, I don't think it's much of a debate, but this weekend and into next week, probably the announcement from Ed Scott that Penny Hardaway will continue. It makes next year close to just impossible for him. The pressure will be every single game, and how myopic we will and everybody will examine every game next year.
Absolutely. And when a coach is under that much pressure, I mean, like you said, Brett, it starts early. And when you know a coach is really on the clock like that, January, February, if it looks like it's not happening, they'll pull the plug early because it's pretty obvious it's not going to work. So he's got even less time, to get this thing up and running. I agree. I think that my gut feels I'll probably give him another shot. Give him another shot in the portal. I think he just missed this year, that Parker and McDaniel were not sufficient to take the place of Haggerty. They missed that scorer there, so he's going to have to go back in the portal and find somebody to come in there to really be the target man and the spear tip carrier for that offense. But that's it. The pressure, like you say, I agree. It's going to make it tough. And like I said, the coach in that position, you're in trouble all the way through January, February, even December to start off slow. I mean, those are the sort of situations where they hit the eject button early. We'll see.
Brant, can you imagine what around here will be like maybe after that around Valentine's game against Utah State, if that's a home loss and he's fired in season, what it'll be like? I don't want to see that.
No, it would be really tough to watch, but it is a possibility for sure with another season. Bruce, getting back to some of these games, you mentioned Oklahoma there for a second. They're in the final game tonight in Nashville against Arkansas. Right now, Arkansas a 6.5-point favorite. That total 166.5. What do you think about this game?
I like Oklahoma, although you got to acknowledge, it's 3 games in 3 days, and Arkansas has been rested here, so, we'll see. But every Oklahoma game, they seem to look a little bit better. And I think this is one of those interesting examples of where the portal, sometimes it just takes a while for all these pieces to mesh. I mean, it was pretty much, new guys all over for Porter Mosier this year, and they were not quite meshing until about mid-February, and all of a sudden it came together. Nigel Pack has had about 3 different careers in college hoops. I mean, Kansas State and Miami, now at Oklahoma. He's in his 6th year. He got a red shirt last year because he only played 9 games at Miami with injury, but he's been around a lot, and he is really picking up the pace, 20-plus in 5 of the last 6 games. Xavier Brown, the transfer from St. Joe's, Reed, the transfer up front from Alabama. It just, sometimes these portal teams, it doesn't come together in November or even December. It comes together later, and I think that's what's happened here. When they lost to Arkansas, it was very close back in January, but that's when Oklahoma was losing all those games close, and they hadn't hit stride yet. Now they have, and I think the way the bubble has sort of gotten collapsed around in the SEC portion of the bubble with Texas and Missouri all of a sudden having their issues. There might be room for Oklahoma. Now, I think they're going to have to get to the final to have a chance and I think if they win tonight and Alabama wins, they'd have Alabama tomorrow. They may have to get to the final, and if they lost that chance to Florida, that might be good enough to get them in at large. We'll see. I'm just speculating, just everything I read, the predictive models and things like that. The one caution is, 4 years ago, Buzz Williams at Texas A&M going a run like this right at the end and in Nashville all the way to the final against Tennessee. They lost that, but a lot of people thought maybe Buzz didn't have to get A&M and at large, and they just missed out, and they ended up going to the NIT instead, all the way to the final of the NIT. So that's why Oklahoma, better not leave it in the hands of the committee, but I think they got a chance, and Porter Mosier has probably saved his job, because a month ago I would have bet that he would have probably been on his way out, but he's pulled it back, and I think now he's got a chance to make the tournament. That would be something. I like them tonight. I think they're going to win this game tonight against Arkansas.
Wow.
Oh, so do you think you like Ole Miss in the points? Do you think Ole Miss could win straight up, setting up an Ole Miss Oklahoma semifinal tomorrow?
It's possible. If I had to pick a winner in the Ole Miss game, I'd pick Bama, but plus the points, I'll take Ole Miss. I would love to see that, though. This is what makes March interesting, when you get these long shots making these runs. And who knows? I mean, Ole Miss could do it. They're going to go 5 straight days if they can pull this thing off, which is asking a lot. But heck, Georgia Southern was playing 6 straight days earlier this week in the Sun Belt. They finally ended that tournament, so it's possible. But I do like Ole Miss plus the points tonight, though.
Who is the coach that we may not know right now that we'll know a week from now, and maybe even further beyond that into the Sweet 16? There's always one, and they usually parlay it into, like Stan Heath did that year at Kent State, into the Arkansas job. Who's the guy out there we don't know that we will know?
Well, I think the name Phil Martelli and Phil Martelli Jr., people know Martelli Jr. because they know his dad, but I think they're getting familiar with his work. If he can get Virginia Commonwealth in the tournament and win a game, and they have a chance to do that, that would be a hot name that we would all of a sudden, Martelli Jr. would be the name, and it would be certain to not think Martelli Sr. As much. Those mid-major teams like that could actually win a game in the dance. A team like that, a team like Northern Iowa, Ben Jacobson, he's been there a long time, and people sort of know Jacobson, but, boy, he could certainly, there's some jobs out there that he could certainly fill. Santa Clara, Herb Sendek, Santa Clara could beat somebody in the tournament. And Sendek's name is coming up for Providence opening, although he just signed an extension with Santa Clara. I'd also watch Scott Frost at Troy. Scott Cross, I'm not sure that Troy can win a first-round game. He might be able to, but there's another guy's name who is really kind of hot out there now, and he's made the tournament 2 years in a row, so Cross might fit that description, too.
Yeah.
Bruce, how come, including Herb Sendek, including Rob Evans, how come nobody's ever been able to do it at Arizona State?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the timing in the 80s, they were 1 year off where they could have hired Lute Olson in there from Iowa, and they hired Bob Weinauer instead from Penn. Ned Wolk had retired. Steve Patterson kind of took over the ex-UCLA center for, sort of an interim, but he lasted a couple of years. And I think the fact had Lute Olson at Arizona State brought him to Tempe instead of the next year him going to Tucson, history would have changed. And Arizona State would have done everything Arizona did, because at that point it was a better program. But I think they have sort of been hurt by Arizona, taken off the way the Wildcats did under Lute, and they've kept it going here. And now with Tommy Lloyd, they've been in the shadow of Arizona for 30 plus years now, and I think that's and it should be a program that does it better. But now you're in a really tough league, and there's some coaches that will look at that job, but I wonder, a guy like Bryce Drew, who coaches across town at Grand Canyon, got a lot less pressure there. He can win. He can maybe get not this year. They lost in the Mountain West tournament yesterday, but boy, you take a job like Arizona State, the history there, some good coaches haven't been able to last. They may have trouble filling that. We'll see.
Bruce, what did you make of the Big 12's electronic court and then the decision last night to switch it back to a regular court ahead of the semifinals?
Brian, when I first saw that, I thought they're playing on a hockey rink. I mean, what's going on here? And then they started changing the colors on it. Then I read what it is, a glass court. And the thing I thought was, wait a minute, that's got to be like a little slippery. And then we saw Anderson from Texas Tech get hurt. You can slip on a hardwood court, too. But it just, I'm kind of glad they went back to the hardwood if guys were slipping out there. You can't afford that. That's what they have those sideboards for. You want to do the advertising and change stuff, put it on the sideboards there on the sideline. You don't need to put it on the court.
Anything better than the late 70s, early 80s rubberized courts that was kind of the fad, and all credit to the Tigers back then. Nope, at Mid-South Coliseum, it was hardwood, not any of that rubberized stuff.
I actually walked on the rubberized at Washington when they still had it. They called it actually a tarp surface.
Sure did.
Yeah, and they could do football practice on that too. And I remember walking on that like in the late.
It probably served a better purpose for football practice than basketball games.
Yeah, boy, it was just very odd. It was more in a lot more.
Bama had one. Tennessee had one.
Wow. Tennessee had one. That's right. And then remember the lines were different on the court, sort of. Washington State had one too. And Washington, they all changed back. None of them kept that. They all went back to the hardwood. I'm kind of glad the Big 12 did it because, like I said, when I first saw it, it's kind of colorful. But I thought they're playing on a hockey rink. Why aren't you supposed to lay your hardwood over the hockey rink? So
shin splints were extraordinary from it. Everybody said.
Jeez.
Yeah, I missed that there, but.
The shin splints from those rubberized courts. Everybody said that and kind of the tile courts just were awful on people.
I do remember hearing that. Yes, it was different because the court had more give, and so your legs it was like different. It was not quite like running in sand, but it was different than a hardwood floor. And
I think Arizona State had one because Lionel Hollins told me, he said that court wrecked his knees.
Yeah, and there were some courts that had Stanford had a court like that with like some more spring in it, but it wasn't a tartan floor, but there was a little more give to it.
Bryant.
Oh boy, no kidding.
But that's what it does to your knee, like your shins like that. When the court does a little more give, and it feels different, and then you feel it later.
Yeah.
Bruce, I'm sorry to ask you this as we're getting close to time, but last Friday we talked about Brett Yormark, and I complimented him earlier for making the decision instead of kind of sticking with the marketing theme and kind of what's cool. I thought Brett Yormark distinguished himself last Friday at the White House at that royal waste of time for the symposium. I thought he was one of the best parts of it.
He's my favorite commissioner. He's the one who doesn't remind me of a run-of-the-mill academic bureaucrat, and that's because he comes from outside of academia. And I think
he comes from the ancient world.
Yeah, that doesn't always work. Larry Scott came to the old Pac-12 outside of academia, and he didn't work out too well. But Yormark, he's thinking outside the box. He doesn't come from that academia mindset. I like him a lot more than I like Sankey or Petiti or Jim Phillips for that matter. He's my favorite commissioner, and no surprise to me that he would be the one who sticks out a bit much in a good way. And I think it's because he's not from academia, and that's sorely lacking in a lot of those administrators, and good for him.
Yeah, no, I think he's definitely done a tremendous job for sure. But Bruce, before we let you go, where can we find more of you?
Yeah, it's all up there now at Gold Sheet, but it's at wagertalk.com. So you could go to the Gold Sheet on that Wager Talk website. It's on that platform right up at the top, goldsheet.com. I'm writing up all the games. I feel like new man again. It's back what I used to do long ago. So I'm back, and goldsheet.com, and we'll be busy again next week. But again, wagertalk.com is the platform, and then Gold Sheet is inside that.
I love it, Bruce. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy all the action. We'll do it again next Friday.
Okay, enjoy the games, guys.
Thanks, Bruce.
You too, Bruce. Thank you.
Bruce Marshall joining us like he does every single Friday to talk all of these games, the wagering side of it, give us some picks as well. And he's back with the Gold Sheet, so make sure you go and check out all of his plays over there. We're about to get to another break. We're going to talk some more wagering on the other side. A little bit of update in this Tennessee-Vanderbilt game. They're just now coming back from the half, 33-33, only about a minute and a half into the second half. This one feels like it could come down to the wire and be really, really fun. But before we get to this break, watching all of this college basketball action, it's March, the tournament right around the corner. Maybe you're looking for a spot to catch all the games with some friends or maybe just by yourself. Well, I've got the perfect spot for you. It's Bell Tavern, located at 117 Barbaro Alley. Bell Tavern is the perfect bar for a night out with your friends or just to go out and catch a game. It's not one of these loud, rowdy, obnoxious sports bars that you've been to and that you just hate going to. It's the exact opposite. You can enjoy a night at Bell Tavern, get one of their great cocktails in their quiet, dimly lit bar. But it's not just the drinks. Bell Tavern has some of the best bar food in Memphis. Pair one of their gourmet burgers with the coldest beer in the city for a perfect night out. For more information about our friends over at Bell Tavern, give them a call, 901-249-6580, or go online to belltavern.com. But let's go ahead and get to another break. When we return, we're getting back to some Landers locks. Brad Bellamy from Landers Ford, he's going to give us some Landers locks hoop style. That's next on Sports Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Listen up, Mid-South. Landers Ford in Collierville says make no payments for 90 days. That's right. During Ford Truck Month, your #1 Ford dealer gives you payment relief. New Ford F-150, 0% APR financing for 60 months. 0 down payments. 0 payments for 90 days. Are you listening? New F-150s, 0% APR financing for 60 months. 0 down payments. 0 payments for 90 days. Get started now with our Landers Easy Pass at LandersFordMemphis.com. Shop one of the largest selections of new Fords before they're sold. It's only once a year. Act now. 0% APR, 0 down payment, 0 payments for 90 days. There's 0 to pay to drive today. Landers Ford in Colliersville. If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2025 Total New Vehicle Retail Sales Report, Memphis Market, with approved credit from Ford Credit. Minimum monthly payment of $1,667 per 1,000 finance. Regardless of down payment, interest accrues from inception. Example, 2025 Ford F-150 Lariat. VIN number 1FTFW5L8XSFB43528. MSRP $71,675. Ford bonus cash $1,000. Sale price $70,675. Based on 0% APR financing for 60 months. Price, tax, title, and $695 processing fee. See dealer for complete details. Offer ends 4/2/26.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, there's some things about the Rendezvous I want to talk about. For example, we make it really easy to park. We have valet parking right at Monroe Street in our alley. We also want to make it easy for people to get to-go orders. You can now park in our alley right at our front door and put your flashers on. People also forget that we take reservations for 6 or more. And we have a wonderful party room upstairs that can accommodate people for rehearsal dinners, birthday parties, reunions, graduations. Our rooms seat between 25 and 275 people. And everything at the Rendezvous can be packed to go. Brett, we also do catering. See our menu online, and we can even deliver for groups of 15 or more. So if you have any questions, always feel free to call us at the Rendezvous because we answer our phone ourselves. You'll never hear, please listen carefully for our menu has changed. Press 1 for reservations, press 2 for hours, press 3 for catering, or if you know your party's 9-digit extension number and the first 3 letters of their mother's maiden name, dial it now. Come see us at the Rendezvous. Since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Hi, I'm Ryan Saharovich, a proud partner with NST Injury Attorneys. For over 35 years, we've been fighting for Memphis families after serious accidents when insurance companies are trying to pay as little as possible. We don't back down. NST is the way to go.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant, objective feedback with hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 Cordova, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation size courts, 3 high school size courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis, now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
It's been a tough Saturday on the lake. I ordered swim trunks in this orange cream color, but it's actually more orange auburn. Oh, and it's swimwear. I probably can't even return these.
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
This traffic report is brought to you by Millington Weight Loss. For more information, call 901-436-0272.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Steady flow of traffic right now on 240 East over here. It's already building at Mill Branch as you continue outbound there on 240, getting on to 385, cranking up pretty good actually out towards the Collierville area. Be aware of a little bit of radar out here a little bit earlier on I-40 as you continue out towards Fayette County, just past New Airline Road. Hey, the low-cost drive-through vaccine clinic is back next Saturday at the Humane Society of Memphis, Shelby County. Check out their website. Those cats and dogs on there for adoption as well. MemphisHumane.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Dacus.
And she says, I wish that I could be like the cool kids, 'cause all the cool kids, they seem to fit in. I wish that
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we've got all this college basketball action in front of us with bunch of conference tournaments still going on. Tennessee, Vanderbilt, the best game going on right now. Tennessee up 39-38 right now. They're about 5 minutes into the second half of that one. North Texas holding on to a 2-point lead over Tulsa in the American. Couple of other mid-major conferences going as well. Some big games later tonight. Really, Big 12 tonight going to be a lot of fun with their semifinals, ranked matchups. In
like
both
a Final
those
Four.
games. It really is. I mean, those two games are going to be awesome. You've got the semifinals in the ACC, which will be really good. Miami in Virginia, and then later in the night, Duke in Clemson, and then we've got the rest of the SEC quarterfinals. So it's going to be a really fun night. We never get this type of night on a Friday night in college basketball, but obviously with these conference tournaments, it is going to be a lot of fun. We've talked a lot about these games, but we've got to continue talking about them. And Brad Bellamy from Landers Ford, he's with us in the fall, giving us his Landers locks. We're going to hop on with us because it is March, a beautiful month to be betting on college basketball games. He's going to give us some basketball style Landers locks. Brad, thanks so much for joining us. Before we get to any of the picks, it's been a minute since we've talked with you. How's everything over at Landers Ford?
Man, things are going great. Great to be on with you guys this beautiful Friday afternoon. Welcome to March Madness.
Yep.
We've already seen a little bit of it with Miami getting knocked off yesterday, and I know that there is so much more to come, and a lot of teams going to be on upset alert. But what an exciting weekend, exciting Friday. Guys, since I was last on, we've added a new location. So Landers Ford on Mount Moriah, we recently purchased the old AutoNation store, which was Dobbs Ford a long time ago. So that's now part of our Landers Ford family. So love for people to come and check out us at our new location. We're still here at Houston Levy and Poplar, and it is truck month. So we got great deals, 0% on 25s all the way up to 66 months, 0% on 26s at 36 months. We got great deals. We got a good number of 25 F-150s, even Platinums and Lariats here for people to check out. So really, really excited about what we got going on. And also this week, we were able to finally officially be told that we are, for the 20th time, a Ford President's Award-winning dealership, which is the top honor that Ford has to offer with both covering your market and sales, but also, most importantly, getting great customer satisfaction scores. And that is really what drives us, is our folks out there giving us great feedback and letting Ford know the service and experience they get at Landers Ford. So wonderful to be with you guys this Friday afternoon.
Oh, Brad, we love having you, and thank you so much for everything you do for us, and that is quite a distinction and another award. Kind of full circle for Don Kitchens back at the Dobbs store on Mount Moriah, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, we have several of our team members. In fact, one of our managers on the desk, Marcus Giles, he actually, his dad started at that store, and so he transitioned over there in January to be a part of that team and kind of sit back in the seat that he got to see his dad in when he was growing up, and really excited to be there. And yeah, I mean, Don Kitchens and Jeff Field both cut their teeth over at that dealership, and so a lot of our folks had some experience there, and it was very nostalgic for them to walk through, because there was some areas of that place that hadn't really been changed that much. In fact, I think maybe there's the bathroom tile was still the same, maybe upstairs. So it was a fun experience to walk through with them and them kind of reminisce. And man, we're so excited. It's a great location right in the heart of the city. We're going to be doing a lot of commercial business out of there, and really excited about what we're going to be able to do and really bring back the Landers name to a historic location. I mean, at one time, that was one of the largest dealerships in the entire country. So really excited about it.
Brad, a lot of people debate March or October as best favorite sports month. I don't think you can go wrong with either one. For me, because of the college football influence and the baseball playoffs, I go a little more October, but I love this time of year, and Thursday and Friday, and even now with Dayton on Tuesday and Wednesday. Which one for you, or would you rather not get into that argument and just enjoy both?
Oh, I would say growing up, there was nothing better than the Thursday and Friday of March Madness. I mean, I remember getting the USA Today, getting the bracket, filling it out, and being so excited about, the first weekend of March Madness, and was I going to be able to pick the Richmond over Syracuse upset. But as I've gotten older, as college basketball has changed, October wins hands down for me. I mean, college football to me is the best sport we got. College basketball has been more and more challenging for me as NIL has taken over. We have our own issues with college football and people changing teams frequently, but college basketball, year in, year out, you got a whole new team in a lot of places, and that's kind of, to me, it's not as good of a game as it was either. I mean, the skill set,
and makes it hard to bet.
But it's to me, I would say October wins out for sure.
Yeah, no, it's hard. It's really hard to decide because there's so much good going on. Before we get to some picks, I'm curious your thoughts. We've kind of talked about it a lot. The big debate right now leading into Selection Sunday: Miami, Ohio, or Auburn. Where do you land on this debate?
Oh, Miami of Ohio, hands down. You can't not put a team that had one loss. I don't care who they played. One loss. The MAC's not the best conference in the world, probably not even a top 8 to 10 conference. But at the end of the day, they had one loss. That is a hard thing to do in this world of college basketball. Auburn had plenty of opportunities to impress. They haven't. There's no debate to me. You take the team with one loss. Don't know what's going to happen on Selection Sunday, but I feel like it would be a tragedy if they did not get into the tournament. I mean, you got good teams in the MAC too, right? Akron only had one loss in the conference, and that was to them. So, to me, you got to put them in. What are y'all's thoughts?
Well, I'm running it almost on an island, but I don't want to fight over it because I'm saving all my fights for the college football playoff in the fall. But a team with a 340 strength of schedule and a net of 64, and I just don't think they could go to Auburn on a Tuesday night and stay within 15 of Auburn.
I understand that, but at the end of the day, Auburn. We're talking about that far down the list, and we'll see what happens. But I gotta think they put Miami in. I would be really surprised.
I do too.
One of the beauties of March Madness is the opportunity for a Cinderella to do something. And I mean, who? To me, I think Miami has a better chance of upsetting somebody too, just from a standpoint of what they've done, and they've proven that they can win games. So we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Selection Sunday is gonna be super interesting, especially with that. All right, well, let's get to some of these picks. What do you got for us? A little different. I'm so used to the football monster. What do you got for us with college basketball?
Well, I mean, the first pick of the day is which one is going to be better, the LED floor or the hardcore? Which one is the safe play?
Hardwoods.
Yeah, one's going to be less distracting, I can tell you that.
I mean, I made a joke this morning about, Landers updating their tiles away from the LED floor to our traditional tile because we had too much slippage. So, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and make some picks for tonight because, there's too many other outcomes in games. But, I mean, first off, who would have ever thought that Nebraska would be a 2-seed in the Big Ten? I mean, I think that is something that no one, if you said, all right, what's got a greater opportunity, Nebraska to make the football playoff or them to be the 2-seed headed into the Big Ten tournament. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and take Purdue tonight. So Purdue minus 4.5. Let's just go ahead and get past how good Nebraska is or isn't. But we'll take Purdue minus 4.5. What a great game in the Big 12 starting at 6 o'clock tonight. Arizona versus Iowa State. I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the hot hand. I'm going to go with the team that's been great all year. I'm going to take Arizona minus 3.5. I also Alabama's got a big point total tonight at 6 as well. 12.5. Ole Miss has been able to make it a little bit further run in the SEC tournament. I think Alabama is a much better team, but I think Chris Beard is one heck of a coach. I'm going to go ahead and give at least pick one underdog and say that they can keep it within 12.5 points. So I'm going to take Ole Miss plus 12.5. I think Alabama is going to win the game. I think Florida's a team of destiny will probably win the SEC tournament, but I'll go ahead and take Ole Miss plus 12.5. And then Kansas versus Houston at 8:30 tonight. I think that's going to be an interesting matchup. But I'm going to go ahead and take Coach Cal in Arkansas minus 6.5 against Oklahoma this evening. So I got 3 favorites, 1 underdog. I gave you 4. You know what? Hopefully I'm right because it's college basketball. But I haven't picked much college basketball this year, guys. So I'm coming in with my first Landers lock of the college basketball season in the conference tournament. If I remember correctly, my first Landers locks in college football this year was actually 4-0. So who knows? Maybe I'm going to be perfect tonight.
It was. And Brad, and we said it when we went over all the totals, your percentage was great in college football, and it was really good in the NFL, but you were riding those player props in the NFL, and that is hard. I mean, that is really hard picking instead of just side and total. Next week at the dealership at Landers Ford in Carterville, all the games will be on. The weather is perfect. I know it's going to be a fantastic week for y'all next week.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And, I mean, these deals last all month long, but the inventory keeps going away fast and furious. So, 25 Explorers, we got $9,000 off those when you include the rebates from Ford, and then the 0 for 60 on the F-150s, the 25. When they're gone, they're gone. They're not making more of them. So come in, check us out. We're ready to take care of you, and just really appreciate, guys, the opportunity to be back on the show with you this afternoon.
Yeah.
And Brad, we know this is a fact. If it doesn't say Landers,
you paid too much.
No doubt about it.
Brad, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy all this action. We'll definitely have you on soon.
Great, guys. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Brad.
You got it. You got it. And the new TV ads. I love Brad mentioned Jeff Fields and Don Kitchens, and they kind of wrap it up. But I love Brad in the middle of the television side of the ads.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's they put together some good ads. That's for sure.
The October-March debate is a good one, and there's no wrong answer.
No.
It's just a preference thing for me. But next Thursday and Friday, I might be saying March is my favorite.
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely one of those things where just so much good going on in both of those months when it comes to all the sports. So it is really hard.
That's
to pick
what
a
Keith
side.
Smith said yesterday. Just enjoy sports.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And this
enjoy it.
This is the time to enjoy it with all these. I mean, when you're talking wall to wall, first game starting at 10:30 in the morning and not ending until I think we have an 11 o'clock at night game starting later tonight. So
we got Hawaii tonight late, don't we, Landon?
We do. I think they're
about to take over the world.
Yeah, that's right.
Hawaii in the NCAA tournament and in the college football playoff this fall.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, Hawaii in action later tonight. So it's gonna be a long night. What was the last game of the night? Is the Mountain West semi? Is that the game Hawaii's playing in the last game tonight at 11, or are they in the earlier game? No, they're at 10:30. So they get a little earlier, because they're not in the Mountain West yet in football or in basketball, but they're going over there in football, or they're already in there in football. I can't ever keep straight with all these conferences and what they're in basketball, what they're in football, but
just watch them all.
Exactly. 11 o'clock tonight on CBS Sports. We've got a semifinal
it's not a school
game
night
in
tonight.
No. It's a Friday, so you can enjoy it all night long. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day, or not of the day, of the hour. And when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Encore flavor. Corky's barbecue. We're cooking it up. Down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like the good old days.
Hey y'all, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. Catering is our specialty. Memphians have trusted Corky's to cater their events for 40 years because we make it easy for you and delicious for your guests. Whether it's 50 people or a crowd of thousands, our experienced team comes to your location, sets up, serves, and ensures everyone enjoys a Corky's all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet starting at only $7.99 per person. You can't beat it. With 40 years of experience, it's easy to see why customers choose Corky's time and time again for all of their catering needs. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to book us for your next party.
Encore flavor. Corky's barbecue.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
It's a new year, and it's the first new sale at Family Leisure. It's the floor model sale happening now. Family Leisure has deep, like diving deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, even those cold plunges. How deep are these discounts? I'm not allowed to say. So if you've been putting off getting a new spa, then right now is the best time to buy. Here's one price I can let loose. You can get a spa as low as $99 a month. Plus, you can get over $1,000 in upgrades with every spa purchased. One other special deal, you can get an $8,000 spa for only $159 a month. And you know what? Family Leisure is going to throw in some LED lights and waterfalls on most models. Room's got to be made, and so do the deals at Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Your home is your best investment, so why not make it the best it can be with help from Gates Lumber? Start with your front door, serving two purposes, curb appeal and security. Gates has solid construction doors built for security, durability, and beauty. See and compare wood, steel, and fiberglass options side by side at Gates Showroom. It's easier to choose when you can see and touch real doors with real assistance from knowledgeable staff helping you choose the right door for your home and budget. So don't just replace your door, upgrade your protection, and Gates Lumber is the right choice. Family owned and operated, serving you for over 100 years with free estimates, free delivery, competitive prices, and quality products. Call 901-942-3201, go to gateslumber.com, or come by their showroom, 1253 South Bellevue Boulevard. Gates Lumber, celebrating over 100 years with a passion for craftsmanship since 1920. The action lives at the Landers Center as the Memphis Hustle hosts the Mexico City Capitanes in a big weekend showdown tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Get to South Haven and cheer on the Memphis Grizzlies NBA G League affiliate. Tickets are now available at memphishustle.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
What up, big guy? I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number of the day, it comes from college basketball, and it actually comes from a game that's going on right now. It is the Vanderbilt and Tennessee game. Right now, Vanderbilt up 55-51, but my big number is the number 28. Right now, Duke Miles for Vanderbilt has 28 points. He is 10 for 11 from the field, 4 for 5 from 3. He is a big reason, really the main reason, that Vanderbilt has a lead in this game and is up by multiple possessions. He has been terrific. I did see him out on the sideline. I think he was cramping a little bit. It looked like they were stretching him out on the bench, but he has been terrific tonight. That's a guy that has missed some time this season with injuries, but when he's been in there, he has been a star. Obviously transferring in from Oklahoma, he's putting together a really nice performance. We'll see if Vanderbilt can hold on to this win, advance to the semifinals. On the other side, some good performances from Tennessee. Not a great night though for Nate Ament. He's 0 for 7 from the field, only 1.6 rebounds right now in 22 minutes of action.
Big corner three for Vandy. They're now up 7. Tennessee on the line. Did Vandy win both regular season matchups?
No, they split. So
okay.
Tennessee won the game in Nashville, and Vanderbilt won the game in Knoxville. So.
One of those, huh?
One of those. So this is the rubber match, Brett.
In downtown Nashville. really, really fun day.
Yeah.
Just how the domination of Florida. They may be really peaking at the right time. And they showed a graphic that charted their November, December, January, February, March, 3-point percentage, and it's gone up all the way to start at 29, gone to 40. If they make 40% of the rest of the way, they're going back to back. My big number, it is 6. These 8 coaches, there are 8 coaches at the SEC tournament today, but 6 of them have all been in a Final Four.
Wow.
The only 2 not, the 2 Marks, Mark Pope and Mark Byington. Todd Golden wins it all last year. Barnes at Texas, Beard at Texas Tech, Final 2 at Texas Tech for Chris Beard. Nate Oates been to a Final 4 with Bama. Porter Mosier at Loyola in 2018. My Final 4 I went to in San Antonio. And, of course, John Calipari with his Final 4s, both at UMass and at Kentucky, and winning it all in 2012 with Kentucky. Hard to believe Kentucky's not winning it this year. When we get to this point this time next year for Kentucky, will have been 15 years since they last won it.
Yeah, that is really hard to believe. But yeah, there's some really good coaches still left standing in the SEC. Obviously, SEC they have
not bad for a football league, is it?
No. I was about to say. I mean, they play great basketball, and they have some really, really good coaches in that conference.
When Ament grows up and gets real muscles, I mean, he looks like he's 10, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, and I mean that's been the problem for him, especially early in the season, was his physicality physically and his body and his strength. And it absolutely will. And you've already seen, just miles of improvement from the beginning of the season to right now. So I think he's going to be a real player at the next level, and he's going to be one of those guys that'll be taken around where the Grizzlies are picking. It'll just be, will the Grizzlies take him? Will somebody else take him? I definitely think he's a lock right now for the lottery.
Next week on brackets, and we're going to do the brackets, we'll do both sides. We'll do left side next Wednesday at 3:45, and we'll do right side next Wednesday about 4:30 or so. We'll do both sides of the bracket, all our picks. I don't think there's going to be a lot of advancement from the SEC, except for Florida and maybe Arkansas.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm really curious to see what some of those matchups look like, and where some of these teams that have kind of been good but not great. What kind of seeds they get, and what those matchups look like, because it's gonna be really interesting for these teams and what they can do. But I'm excited for Sunday. I'm ready to get that bracket and start kind of looking at a lot of these matchups. And
what's the first thing your eyes go to? What's the big thing, first big bracket take you have? I mentioned with Alan Bell, I know from a betting side that 10 seed that is favored over the 7 seed, well, we know they probably got the seeding wrong.
Yeah, no, I usually have a handful of teams in my head that I'm very curious about to see where they kind of are on the bracket, and I like to look at kind of what those first matchups look like and kind of potential matchups down the road. That's kind of what I usually look at first. I just love seeing the matchups. That's what I love about the selection show, and
me too.
Kind of
I
what I
like
really
the coaching
care about.
matchups. Like last year when we knew we were going to get Cal versus Patino.
Yeah, no, they know this is television. They know how to make some really good storylines. So no, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
They're revealing the next month TV show.
Yeah, no, they are, and so I'm
it's
excited.
Big
about
money.
It is, and so it's gonna be fun to see what it looks like and to get that bracket in hand and really start breaking it down. But I think everybody's eyes this year is going to immediately go to the bubble and what teams are in, what teams are out. Very soft bubble this year, and
and I'm not losing it over Miami, Ohio. I do think 31 wins should matter.
I don't think you've been anywhere close to losing it over Miami.
I'm saving it all for December.
Yeah, you have an opinion on it. It's your job to have an opinion on it, and I don't think you've been anywhere close to losing it.
And I'm not going to be
Ohio.
anti-Miami next week.
No.
I think I kind of fear there will be a lot of early SEC exits, and that will make it a little more justifiable of, look, all those teams that they played against, they all lost in the first round too.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, it's going to be. There's going to be a lot of storylines and a lot of questions Sunday night once we get the bracket in front of us. But let's go ahead and wrap up this hour. When we return, we're going to talk some Tiger hoops. Jason Munns from the Commercial Appeal. He's going to join us. A lot to talk about with Jason Munns. But again, a reminder: we're out early this afternoon as we have to make way for Ole Miss basketball. We'll have the pregame show starting at 5:30 for that matchup against Alabama in the quarterfinals later tonight. So it's only going to be about a 30-minute segment coming up before we get out of here, but we are going to talk Tiger basketball. We do it with Jason Munns. He's presented by Jim's Place Grill in Collierville. Don't go anywhere. Jason Munns, he's with us next.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
The best I do's start with Sissy's Blue.
Discover bridal jewelry worthy of your big day at Sissy's Log Cabin, along with our spectacular experience that comes with our promise of exceptional quality, service, and brilliant natural diamonds. Experience our expansive selection when you stop by any of our 7 locations or shop online at sissyslogcabin.com. Find your perfect engagement ring only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Kubota Orange Days are here, so come see them Friday, April 3rd, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday, April 4th from 8 until noon at First Choice Farm and Lawn. And be sure to join me, Johnny Radio, from Sports 56, Friday, April 3rd, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for Garibaldi's Pizza. Some fun and a lot of Kubota Orange. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs. Get your perfect match. Get 0 down, 0% financing, and discounts up to $2,000 on select models of mowers, tractors, and construction equipment. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com. Kubota Orange Days, Friday and Saturday, April 3rd and 4th, plus Sports 56 and Johnny Radio. Friday, April 3rd from 11 to 1, giving away Garibaldi's. For 50 years, Memphis has been going to Garibaldi's for great pizza, and it's still a Memphis favorite. And we're giving it away at First Choice Farm and Lawn, 12701 Highway 64 East in Eads.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GRAVY25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GRAVY25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GRAVY25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need catering? Moe's Taco Truck is always ready to cater for you. Just give Jenny Nash a call at 901-606-3172. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies.
This traffic report brought to you by City Center Liquor, just off Highway 70 in Lakeland. Local, friendly, and always fully stocked. For a 5% discount, tell them Sports 56 sent you.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. We're really starting to pick up over here on 240 East, coming past Mill Branch, all the way out to 385 as you get on the Bill Morris Parkway. That's cranking it pretty good out towards Collierville. No shortage of radar. At least it was an hour ago or so on I-40 out through parts of Fayette County as it builds out through there right now on 40 East passing New Airline Road. Hey, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital is leading the way the world understands, treats, and tries to help defeat childhood cancer. If you can help these kids with cancer, please do. Log on to stjude.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our third and final hour on this Friday afternoon. A reminder, we're out of here early today. Ole Miss and Alabama, they're getting ready to face off against each other in the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament. We'll have the pregame show starting at 5:30. But right now, we have to talk Tigers, and we do it at this time every single week during the season with Jason Munns, the Tiger basketball beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal. He's brought to you every week by Jim's Place Grill in Collierville. And as we bring Jason on, we've got a great game in the American Conference quarterfinals. Tulsa in North Texas in overtime, with Tulsa breaking the tie just a second ago to go up by 2 points. But Jason, you were in the building earlier this week for Memphis and Tulane after two really close competitive games in the regular season. Not so much in the tournament, as Tulane went on to win by 12 points. What did you make of that performance in the first round by the Tigers?
Oh, well, hardly surprising, I guess, would be the way I felt about it. I mean, you could talk yourself into the fact or into the possibility that the win in New Orleans would provide some sort of spark. You could talk yourself into the probability or possibility that the way they played against Wichita State, even though they lost a couple of weeks ago, they led with like 90 seconds left in the game. And if after they get skunked by East Carolina on the road, they come back home against league champion South Florida and kind of give them a game too. And yeah, you could kind of look at those two things plus the win against Tulane and think to yourself, hey, maybe the breaks are going to start falling their way. The odds are going to, break back toward even, and the Tigers are going to start figuring some things out. Their backs are against the wall, but no, none of that happened. They hardly showed up. It wasn't even as close as the 11-point differential by the end. And essentially, Rowan Brumbaugh just kind of beat him by himself. 35 points. He averaged, he played 3 times against Memphis this season. He averaged 31 points against Memphis in 3 games. Like, he only scored, I believe this is right, he only scored more than 30 points in 2 other games this season.
Yeah.
And he averaged 31 in 3 games.
Jerry West against the Tigers.
He was John Stockton, Jerry West. Like he was Kobe. He was Kobe Bryant against Memphis.
He really was.
So.
And Jason, I thought the questioning by the Memphis media, and it's you and plenty of others serve us, the consumer, the reader, the listener, so well. And you asked the tough ones. Would you describe Coach Hardaway in that setting as melancholic, forthright, looking to the future? He called it a failure. That's a lot different word than I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm recollecting this correctly, that's not the first time he's called this anything this season a failure. I'm almost certain he's used that word before, a time or two at least, just about various things about the season, about the non-conference schedule, whatever. Yeah, he was blunt, to say the least, when sort of evaluating the way this season went down. And I would say, he was his emotions seemed to shift from, near desperation at one point to a few weeks ago to almost just chalking it once you got past that, just chalking it
change
up.
it. Yeah.
Just not that he was ever stop trying to get it
right. But he cared more than they did.
Yeah, that was abundantly clear. And it was abundantly clear pretty early, honestly. Look no further than the UNLV game, where they just didn't show up. Look no further than the Louisville game, where once the floodgates opened, it was just all right, let's run for cover. There was just, and a lot of people take, and I'm not saying they're wrong for doing this, but a lot of people take what Penny does when he says things like that there was, the players just didn't buy in and they didn't believe in what I was trying to get them to do, and so they just decided they weren't going to do it. A lot of people will take those things and say, oh, he's just making excuses. Well, you can say that, and I think, again, I'm not saying you're wrong for saying that, but neither is someone wrong who hears those things and says, wow, I wouldn't want to have to deal with that. That's actually not fun to be beating your head against the wall to try to get these, 18 to 22 or 23-year-old kids to do what you're asking them to do, and they just stare back at you blankly, or they nod and say yes sir, and then just don't do it. Like, they just don't do it. And there were, truthfully, a handful of players on this team who either never got it, like never picked it up, and I've been told that there were multiple guys as late as February who were still struggling to understand Penny Hardaway's concepts and systems. And then by the same token, I've been told there were multiple players on this team who either would just stare blankly back at him when he was trying to get his point across to them, or they would nod their head and then go do something completely opposite. One of them got dismissed during the season, and then that's an example of something that, one of many things that Penny Hardaway was having to deal with this roster.
Yeah. I know a lot of people talking about the roster and 8 guys that could return next season, but there's a lot of talk as well about the coaching staff, and it feels like there will be turnover with this coaching staff. Do you expect just some, most, or do you think a complete overhaul of this coaching staff? What do you think it looks like?
Yeah, I mean, there's always turnover, right? He's had 14 assistant coaches. He's been the coach now 8 seasons, and you have 3 assistant coaches, so that's like 24 possible assistant coaches. Like, if you changed it every year, if you changed all 3 positions every year, then you'd have 24. Well, he's had 14. So there's a lot of turnover there. And so, yeah, like that there, and it seems like even in a good year, even if this had been a really, really good year, there was more than likely going to be turnover. My read of the situation is that there will be like almost complete and total revamp of the coaching staff. Like, there might be 1, maybe 2 guys, people who are currently, and I'm talking about not just assistant coaches, I'm talking about support staff and everything else. Like 1, maybe 2 back, like maybe 3, but I think it's going to be a pretty clean sweep, like house cleaning, when the time comes, because that's honestly, it shouldn't be that surprising. Like, it's almost athletics 101. Like, for instance, Roy Rogers, he's only at Memphis because they made Chauncey Billups clean house with the Trailblazers. Yeah. Now, ultimately, Chauncey Billups got caught up in the legal stuff, and so he himself got booted. But they weren't doing well, and so they went to him and said, "It's either you or the staff." And they did it to Fred Hoiberg at Nebraska a few years ago when Nebraska was down and Fred wasn't getting the job done. Like, I knew one of the guys on his staff who had to find another job because they went to Fred and said, "It's either you or your staff." And
that's always easy.
Yeah, so it is always easy, and so that is my read of the situation here, is that they're going to go to Penny and say, "Listen, we're going to shake it up, and if that doesn't work, then we'll have a different conversation. But in order for you to keep your job, we're going to need to make some significant change here."
What's the time frame next week? We get the official release on Monday after consultation. Coach and I have decided to do this, and this is the plan going forward. What it doesn't need to drag out because he's returning, right?
I mean, if he doesn't, it would, to me, constitute a major swerve. I fully expect him to be back.
Yeah. When you look at the roster, I believe 8 guys that have eligibility remaining. We know last season it was the complete overhaul, completely new 15 guys. The year before, you had 1 guy return. Do you think it will look more like that, where it's just 0, 1, 2 guys returning, or do you think there will be a little more retention with this group?
Just to finish the last thought on with Brett's question about timing, I think Monday would probably be, like, my gut tells me that we'll hear something fairly early Monday, and then we'll go from there. Is there a sliver of a chance that whatever meeting is left to be had, whatever discussion is left to be had, doesn't go well, and Penny decides, well, I'm just not going to do this anymore? A sliver, maybe. Okay, maybe like a 1% chance, but I do not expect that to be the case. And so, yes, I think Penny will be back. And then that goes into to Brian's question about the roster. That is kind of the big mystery to me. It's not a big mystery, but at least it's more uncertain than what the plan is going to be for the coaching staff, because there are 8 players who can come back, and the majority of those players, either were like stalwarts on the court, and big important pieces to the puzzle, all the way down to like hardly ever played and only in mop-up duty. But the majority of them were played significant minutes, meaningful minutes. And so it's going to be that to me is the most intriguing part about all of this. Now that we kind of expect Penny Hardaway to be back, that is going to be besides who he's going to bring in. It feels like that's a really, really intriguing thing, is like which ones, because he has made it very, very clear from the very beginning, once the season started, like, I can't continue to do this. I cannot continue. Did you guys know this? Counting this season, the last 3 off seasons, how many returners combined over the last 3 off seasons he's had? The number is 3. There were 0 returners on this roster, 1 on last year's roster, and just 2 on the roster before it. And that's incredible.
And that was his son often.
Mm-hmm. One year was his son. 1 year was his son and Malcolm Dandridge. Jaden being his son. Yeah. And then last year was Nick Jourdain, and this year was nobody. And like we can okay, fine. Ashton Hardaway was here 2 years ago, and he was brought back. That's not exactly a returner. It kind of is, maybe a little bit, but not really.
Right.
So 3 in a 3-season span, that's insane. Like, no wonder you're having to coach things like buy-in and belief, like getting the guys to believe in your system, because you don't even know them, first of all, because you're not recruiting high school players. You don't even know them until they get on campus, and every single face is new, brand new. So you're having to teach every single player the entire book, the entire textbook. You're having to teach every single one of them. And, you're the one who's having to largely do that yourself, because, you've got a bunch of new coaches on top of it. Like, Roy Rogers doesn't know the textbook. Mike Davis has only been here, as of this last offseason, he'd only been here for 1 full season. He doesn't know the textbook, really. So no wonder no wonder that there's such high probability that things are going to go off the rails. But to answer the question, like I think that it'll probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 or 4. I'm putting the over/under at 3.5 guys coming back. I thought Quante Berry, like, I had kind of written him off as maybe somebody who might not be back, or somebody who probably wouldn't be back.
Yeah.
But then he has really emerged, or he really emerged in the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks of the season. A couple of 20-point games in the last couple of weeks, one against Wichita State, one against Tulane. I think we all expect Julius Bedford to be back. Wouldn't surprise me if Curtis Givens III is back. Aaron Bradshaw, to me, is the biggest mystery. You know, like, he was really good at times, and he was also really bad at times. He got paid a lot of money to be a mixed bag.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know, what are you going to pay him does he want to come back? To me, if I'm Penny Hardaway, I want Aaron Bradshaw back. He's 7 feet tall. He can shoot the three. He's never been in the same system 2 years in a row. So we don't know, like, you know, like, what we've seen so far out of him is like, you know, what do we think we're going to get out of a year two? You would think it'd be better than what you got out of a year one. So, yeah, that's going to be intriguing.
Yes, a lot of questions this offseason for Memphis and for Penny Hardaway. We'll see how it all plays out. But, Jason, we're out a little early today, so we got to cut things short today. But we're going to have you back with us next week as a final week, and we'll get to even more questions because there are plenty of questions with this upcoming offseason. But we appreciate you, as always, for joining us. Enjoy your weekend. We'll do it again next Friday.
All right, appreciate y'all.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Jason Munn's with us. As always, he's presented the entire season by Jim's Place Grill out in Collierville. We appreciate Jim's Place for being with us and sponsoring that segment with Jason Munn. Jason's been great with us all year long. And we'll have him back one more time next week to really wrap things up. And at that point, we'll have an official word. We'll really know for a fact what the plan is going into next year. So hopefully we'll have a little more clarity and can really start talking about the offseason and some of these changes that will be made. Well, again, a reminder, we're out early today for Ole Miss basketball as they've won back-to-back games in the SEC tournament, and they will be in action at 6 o'clock against Alabama. The pregame show starting at 5:30. But before we get to Moe's Crunch Time, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsors, Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Head out there and check out those beautiful vehicles. They've got a great team that can help you out. Find that next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Check out all their new models like the Range Rover Sport, the Range Rover Velar, and the Defender. While you're out there, you can test drive all of them. And like I mentioned, that great team, they can help you out with all those features and everything that they've got on all of these beautiful models. They've got great deals out there like the 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. So head out there. You can give them a call. Ask them any questions you have. 877-259-6169. You can go online, jaguarbluffcity.com. But head out there and test drive this weekend. Looks like a beautiful weekend, especially tomorrow. Perfect day to go out there and see the lot and view those vehicles over at Land Rover Bluff City. But let's go ahead and get to Moe's Crunch Time.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight?
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Crunch time between the hedges.
The ball game is over, and Memphis has its first win in 16 tries, its first win ever against its fierce in-state rival Tennessee.
Goodbye!
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Do you need catering? Well, Moe's Taco Truck is always ready to cater for you. Just give Jenny Nash a call at 901-606-3172. Moe's.com. It's your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies. Well, Brett, what I learned today is the Big 12, their semifinals will be taking place here in about 30 minutes with two really, really fun games, but they won't be playing on that electronic glass court that we've seen for the last week plus. It will be a regular court, and it will be really interesting to see the difference between what we've seen in the first couple of rounds and then tonight in the semifinals. I think in theory it was a good idea and kind of fun of this future of what kind of court you could put out there. But after seeing some of the injuries, some of the complaints from the players, even I saw a tweet earlier today saying that some of the women's basketball players from last week when they had their women's tournament were complaining about migraines after playing on that court. And obviously with a lot that can go on those courts, I can understand maybe getting a little discombobulated and getting a migraine from that court. So it'll be a regular court, and I think it was a smart move on their part after you've already had a couple of injuries with that type of star power on the court. Not only those guys going to the next level into the NBA, but what these four teams could do in March Madness in the NCAA tournament. Don't want to risk any injuries. Let's just go back to a good old-fashioned wood court.
Sometimes being first and being revolutionary doesn't work out.
No, it doesn't. But I like the idea in theory. An A for thought, effort, right? Theory, all of that.
I didn't mind it, but safety always.
Oh, definitely. It absolutely does.
But I learned Cooper Flagg will have much bigger nights at FedEx Forum for the Dallas Mavericks than last night. There were a lot of 32 jerseys throughout FedEx Forum and a lot of Maverick fans there as well. He got the biggest ovation of the night when he was introduced.
Yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. He is going to have that effect for a really long time in the NBA. Well, what I could have done without, but I was not aware of this situation going on with Louisiana Tech, currently in Conference USA, but trying to make the change for this upcoming season to go to the Sun Belt. They are suing the Conference USA to try to get out of the conference ahead of this football season. Well, the Sun Belt had already released the conference schedules and had put Louisiana Tech in there as a football playing member with a complete schedule. Yesterday, Conference USA released their schedule, and they have Louisiana Tech in their conference playing a full conference schedule. I saw some people point out this is very similar to something that happened in 2022 when a lot of CUSA teams got a schedule that ultimately went and played that season in the Sun Belt. So maybe we see the same thing happen here, but really weird to see that take place.
Meanwhile, the men's basketball team in the finals at the CUSA.
Yeah, a really impressive win earlier. Yeah, that's right.
We'll meet Kennesaw State tomorrow. I could have done without this. You know the committee's wrapped up all the work. Except for a few contingency plans. They're mostly ordering out, having a big old time, handshaking, and trying to look important. The real work of most committees, make sure the team picture looks good is what they're most worried about.
That's right, yes. Just get that, and then everything else plays out. Where are you beaming this weekend?
Nashville. Can Ole Miss keep it going? That wasn't leaking oil they had last night. That was a gusher, but they held on, survive in advance, and they have not trailed a single minute in Nashville.
Yeah, they've played extremely well. It's going to be a fun one here in about 30 minutes. Beam me to the World Baseball Classic down in Miami. We're officially to the bracket play tonight. We've got the Dominican Republic against Korea. We also have Team USA in action later tonight against Canada. That is going to be a lot of fun. In the Dominican Republic, they have gone crazy for this. Even Julio Rodriguez the other day saying he would rather win the WBC for his country than to win the World Series for Seattle. This means a lot for them.
I don't know that I want a Cardinal player saying that.
Well,
Seattle was real close last year.
They were.
We will watch the WBC. We'll watch all the college basketball. Brackets revealed on Sunday. Coaching news. Also, the Player Championship. Shocker there with the great round that Ludwig Oberg had today.
Yeah, he had a really, really nice day as that rain got out of there yesterday. A little better in terms of pace of play today, not having to have all that stoppages. So that will be fun over the weekend. But it's going to be a lot of college basketball as we'll wind the hours down till the bracket is released Sunday night. But right now we're going to send you out to Nashville, Ole Miss, Alabama. The pregame show going to get started here in a couple minutes. Looks like the game might be a little delayed. Maybe not, as the Vanderbilt game just wrapping up with a win. Tomorrow and Sunday, we're planning on having Ole Miss baseball against Texas unless basketball wins tonight. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you again Monday afternoon.